Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Engine House. I am your host, Gandy Dancer, and here we are in the basement. All of the paneling is down, all of the sheetrock is down. We have some new lights going here, and I don't know if it'll show up on the video, but we have a portable heat pump here now. Instead of running the furnace, which of course we have heat pumps, the basement though still gets cold. So we got a portable heat pump down here, and this heats the basement. And of course, being an old house, heat rises. This will help keep the kitchen and dining room area, which has been absolutely chilly since the temperatures plummeted. The living room, the heat pump in the living room works great, keeps the living room nice and toasty. The one upstairs keeps the upstairs nice and toasty, but the heat can't circulate. So it won't circulate into the kitchen dining room area. And because the basement is so cold, the cold rushes right up through the cat door and into the kitchen dining room area because, as we know, cold loves to chase heat around. This hopefully will eliminate, if I could talk today, this will hopefully eliminate a lot of that, and we'll have a nice, comfortable temperature down here. It is about 16 degrees outside. I'm not sure what the temperature is in here, but it is considerably warmer than it has been. The heat pump also air conditions, which I won't need it down here in the summer, but it also acts as a dehumidifier, which I do need because, again, damp basement. The reason we had to take all this stuff down is because of mold. It doesn't flood, but it does get damp. So between the heat pump water heater and this heat pump, we should keep the basement nice and dry. So anyway, here we are. I have moved part of the layout this side now so I can walk around. I can't walk around the back. I don't want to. I want to, this basement isn't all that big, but I do want to be able to get around three sides. You can see the pink paint back there in the back. I'm going to spray paint some of that gray. I've got some cracks here in mortar that's got to be fixed. They were covered up with paneling. There's a bunch over here. You can see over there, there's my power, panel. And that corner is having an issue. And one of the previous owners sprayed expanding foam in there, which just made it worse. And then, of course, they covered everything up. As we were taking stuff down, we found some faults in here that I'm going to have to fix in the spring. It's too cold to mix mortar outside. It would freeze before I got it down here, and I can't mix it down here. So it's going to be spring. I'll mix it, and I'll be patching that and patching some over here and sealing some of this up. You can see a window over here. I'll kind of move my arm there. You can see that window right there. I'm going to pull, there's two windows left that aren't covered. There's one over the oil tank, and there's one that's right there that you can see. They stuffed some insulation in them, and they kind of, it's a mess. I'm going to be pulling those windows out, taking the insulation out. They've got plywood on the other side, on the outside. I'm going to be taking all that stuff out and then either bricking or stoning or something, getting rid of those windows. Over here, they have them already covered up, and they're not even usable. They're not even accessible. So I'm going to be doing some changes to the basement now that we have it open. You can see over here, I'll come over here. This is the start of my U. This is going to be a U layout. It's actually going to be more of an O. But we're calling it a U for the time being. Originally, my plan was to have a modified dog bone, a loop at this end. It was going to come around over here and be a loop at this end and go back. My controller works two trains. So I decided, because I had planned on it on my original layout, I had decided to have two separate trains running. I decided to do the same thing here. So there in front of me right here, you can't see it, there's going to be kind of a bridge area, and an area where I can lift up like a, you know, a pass to get in here. My controls, you can see I've got some shelving already put back in here. So there's going to be a way to get in here where my controls and stuff are going to be. And also this area, this leg of the U and the bridge that will come across here is going to be removable. The tracks are going to come to the corner and butt up. And the same thing when I come off this end coming this way, and they'll just be power jumping to the tracks, because we still have a furnace, we still have a 300-gallon oil tank. Even though we're not using them, the oil tank has oil in it. Should it start leaking, or for any reason we need to get that or the furnace out of here, we have to be able to move this. There's not a lot of room. So these are going to be these two sections. This is the first section. The other section is going to be about 5.5 feet out further. And they're going to be modular, so I can separate them, move them out of the way so we can get furnace and oil tank and whatnot if we need to get stuff in and out. So that's one of the things that's going to happen with this. I would be further along. For whatever reason this winter, we have had temperatures in the teens and single digits a lot of the time. A lot of my cutting I have to do outside. I've cleaned most of this area up. I have a piece of plywood here that's going to be part of this extension that's coming out here. I can't get it out of the basement. It's going to be easier to bring the sawhorses and the skill saw down here. But for ripping the, I use 2x4s and rip them down to 2.5 inches. I'm using, again, this is modeling on a budget here. So what I'm using is the 2x4s that were salvageable, that were on the wall behind the paneling. If they were not moldy, if they were not rotten, I put them aside. I pulled some nails out of them, the little nails that held the paneling on, and the spikes that held them to the 2x4 above. If you look in the back over here, you can see way up there along the ceiling, that was the upper part of the wall, the 2x4s. I have not taken that down. I have not taken these down. They're not in my way. I'm just going to leave them. But anyway, I've been taking the 2x4s and reusing them, ripping them down to 2.5 inches. So they're 1.5 by 2.5, and building the bench work. It's not, you know, there's not a lot of support in the middle here. You can see I may put something in there, but I've also got some drawers that I want to put in that won't go in the ends, but they'll go on the side. There's a few different things I've got to do. I've got some stuff ready to go for that, but I need to finish up, and before I want to get the rest of the bench work here built and then start making track plans and whatnot. So anyway, that's where I'm at right now. I'm excited to get back down in here. There'll be some more videos between upstairs in my little craft area. That's a much better area with much better lighting to work on models and things. Though when I put these in, I was not expecting quite this much light. This is actually quite impressive. My old desk is still here. It's moved underneath the stairs. But unless I want to enclose the stairs, the risers, there's dirt and dust and everything that falls down in there. I'm not going to be using that desk for much, except for possibly mixing things that I can't do upstairs, mixing Sculpt-A-Mold or cutting foam or doing things that need to be done. That's what that desk is for. The other desk upstairs and the table I have is going to be for building models and whatnot for the layout. Now, I've got some stuff. You can just barely see the corner here. There's my, this was upstairs. I don't know if this is going on a layout or not. It's really not the scale, but you know, Seacoast, that's down here. Granny in Reds, you can just see the corner of it here. I need to fix it. One of the street lamps came off, but here's Granny in Reds. Hansel and Gretel's confectionaries is over here just out of the shot. I put them up here to get them out of the way so they don't get damaged. A couple of them have gotten a little, I got to do some repairs on them. Moving them around, getting stuff, they kind of got a little, some of them got a little whacked up and and they need some minor repairs. I've got my wire, 100-foot of wire. I got some terminal blocks. So as soon as I get the framework built, I can start wiring, putting down the track and wiring. I'll be cleaning up track because, again, it's out of the frame. But one of the things we found is the drain for the washer upstairs in the kitchen came down through here, and the hose was rotten. It was dripping water on the tracks. It was like, it was almost impossible to find it until we tore the wall and the ceiling down. And then I was able to find it, and I repaired the hose. It's still kind of in the way. The wife and I have talked about moving the washer to the other side of the kitchen where the stove is. If that's the case, we're going to hard plumb everything in a little better than what it is right here. This was kind of cobbled together. I think at one point, the washer and dryer from previous owners was down here in the basement. And they just kind of, when they moved things out, they just kind of cobbled stuff in upstairs, and it's a nightmare. But that's going to be worked on and fixed. It no longer leaks, but a lot of my track did get kind of rusty. So I've got to bring my wire wheel, my bench grinder with the wire wheel on it down here, get it set up, take care of some of the tracks. The worst of it, I'm going to get some CLR and dip it. I got a couple of turnouts that just completely rusted. I'm just going to throw them in some CLR, leave them for a little bit, pull them out, wipe them off, and hopefully they'll be fine. So we're going to get started here real soon. I did salvage the mountain. I turned it 90 degrees, put it back there. I'm going to do some work. The trains, both sets of tracks are going to run behind it. There's enough room. I'm going to kind of use that back wall as a mountain drop. So I'm going to bring the foam. I'm going to have it so I can remove the foam and put it back in, but I'm going to have it there so I can have a different mountain scene there with some more trees and whatnot on it. And I'll be able to take it out in sections if I need to get back there for whatever reason. Sadly, I'm still going to have to be climbing on some of the layout because where I had built the frame for this, I didn't want to cut it back too far. I still have quite a bit of space back there I'm going to have to get to if I need to. And over here, I'm hoping to make it kind of a little easier on me. I'm not getting any younger, but maybe I'll figure out something, or my grandson, if he's here, I'll send him over the top and have him take care of it. And of course, where the tunnels were, I'm going to close in the back, and I have some O-gauge track that isn't 3-rail. A friend of mine had it. It is O-gauge, but it's 2-rail. I'm unfamiliar with it. It's new to me. He didn't use it. He's not using it. He's using 3-rail. So he gave me this stuff. Some of it's going on these shelves here to hold the rolling stock, and a couple of pieces when I get them cut, because they're not going to, they're longer than this. They're going to have to, when I get them cut, I'm going to make them look old and weathered, and the ties broke, and they're going to be partway in those 2 tunnels back here. And later on, you can see the tunnel in there. You can see that tunnel there, and then, of course, you can see that one. You can just barely see them. I'm a ways away. Anyway, they're going to be in there. It's going to be kind of like either an old line or a ceiling is really low here, and it's better now without the stuff they had built around it, but it's still low. Anyway, it's going to look like kind of an old mining operation or something going underground, or an old rail line for some reason. And it's going to end. There'll be brush and scrub and trees in there and whatnot, and I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to extend some of the mountain, like I said, up to the back there, so there can be more trees and scenery. A couple more little shacks or something going up there. The log cabin that I had is going back in that area. I've got some other plans for over here. So, I mean, things are starting to come together. I'm liking it. I'm back down here where I can work. It's a little warmer down here, so I'm not going to be, my hands aren't going to get cold, and I don't have to wait till summer. So I'm liking it. We're getting there. It's mid-January, and it's, I think, 18 degrees today is the high. 9 is the low. We got a couple days coming when it's going to be below 0. And so I'll be able to come down here. But again, cutting bench work, going out there using a table saw and my chop saw when it's this cold, I can't wear gloves. I get a little bit of nervous about having a glove getting caught in something. And it's, if you've ever worked with work gloves on and something like that, I don't care much for it. And even with work gloves, unless they're insulated, my hands get cold pretty quickly. So I don't know how much bench work I'm going to get done in the next few days. I'm going to try. I think this coming weekend, we're going to have some warmer weather, late in the 20s, heat wave for us right now. And I can get some more bench work done. And I'm using, like I said, the old 2x4s that came off the wall for the bench work. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to try to get that done. I'm going to try and get this piece in the front here built, so I'll have the camera back a little further next time, and you can see. Now, a couple things here. Again, I try to model things on a budget as cheap as possible. When I find a deal somewhere, Menards recently had a deal where if you bought grandma's house for $69, might as well say $70 when you get done with tax, you got Halls of Handsome for free. Well, I looked at that and my wife said, you can't pass that up. You need to buy it. So I did. So here we go. Here is Halls of Handsome. Okay. It's a nice little building. It's rather well detailed. Of course, all the buildings Menards puts out have a German Shepherd. Jack the German Shepherd is in all of the buildings in some form, or he's on the other one too. This is a very nice, it's well built, it's rather well detailed. It's going to get a few more details, of course. It's got to have some bird droppings on the roof. It needs to be dirtied up a little bit. Some of the brick, a little bit of the doors, and I don't know what the deal is with this, why they didn't put glass in here. I don't know what I'm going to do with it right away, but I'm going to do something a little different. These are rather, they're not, the base is plastic. I'm not, this is like plaster of Paris or something. I'm not really sure what it is. It's very easy to carve. I did some on the Quonset hut I bought that I still have. It's upstairs in the other room. I did a little carving on it. It carves pretty easily with a Dremel tool. But again, I mean, this has figures. It's rather well detailed, and again, it will get some more details. The I don't like the way they did the sidewalk. I don't. That's not really. The squares are too small for O scale, but that's okay. This will be on there. It'll be dirtied up a little bit on the sidewalk. There'll be some trash. There'll be a couple of trash cans out here on the side somewhere. I have. I needed to start doing something. I have industry, and I had no real commercial. You know, the department store, a barber shop. I have no real commercial buildings. I have some Plasticville. I have a Plasticville diner, and I have a Plasticville post office, and I have a couple other buildings. The supermarket's tiny, tiny. I mean, as far as it from 1950s 027s, you know, what they were using as scale in those days, it was perfect for that. If you had an actual supermarket that was actual O scale nowadays, it would be huge. I'm going to use it. It's going to be a market sticking off in the corner. You know, I'm going to get rid of the Plasticville on it and call it the corner market or something. You know, it'll be on here somewhere, but it'll be in a commercial area as well as the post office. But anyway, this is the one that came for free, and now here is Grandma's house. And of course, here's Jack right here, the German Shepherd. I need to still, the porch swing is still tied down here. I need to release that. I haven't done it yet. Again, very nicely detailed, a little too clean. Anybody ever seen a chimney? They're dirty. They look it. This is going to get dirtied up a little bit. This is a motorcycle mostly for summer, spring, but my layout is fall. This tree will get a little fall dusting on it. But, you know, there are some people, I saw people up here riding motorcycles. It was cold, it was fall, and they're riding motorcycles. I mean, motorcycles, some of these guys are pretty diehard motorcycle riders. I don't know if I'll do anything with the bushes here. You know, maybe leave them. But this is rather well detailed. It's a nice building. This is all plastic, it appears to be. We have a ladder over here. This will get a little detail on it. The roof's going to get dirtied up a little bit. It's too clean. This will go with my other house, O-scale house, and of course the O27 scale, I call it, house that's up there. That's a ranch. There'll be over here. This side over here, by the way, is going to be my residential / farm side. This side is my industry / commercial. And back near the back, probably in front of the tracks, will be some flats, or even behind the tracks will be some building flats to kind of cover some of that pink up. And I'm going to use the stone and the mortar as the mountain back there behind. I'll put some foliage on it or whatever once I get rid of that pink. And of course, the blue and the yellow that's back there, you can see that. The last family that was here, they raised 3 kids in this house, and we found things when we've taken stuff apart in the remodeling process. Definitely a kid left them. We found some marbles, kid left. And of course, taking down the paneling, I found some paint down here. I don't know if one of the kids did it or if the husband did it. I don't know if this was his workshop at one point until his kids were grown, and then he kind of had it finished off, or, you know, what he called finished off. I don't know how it was, but anyway, it's gonna get covered up, and I'm gonna use some of the stone work as mountain. So that's what's going to happen here. This is where we're at so far. As I said, I've got to bring sawhorses down here and a skill saw so I can cut some plywood. So this area is all nice and cleaned out here. Both of these green shelves, I need to take about 1 inch off of them. In moving this stuff around, for whatever reason, when I put these underneath here, the feet aren't touching the floor anymore. They were when I first set this all up. Now they're not. So while I've got the sawhorse down here, I'll rip about 1 inch off the bottom of these 2 shelves, and the one that will be going over here. There'll be a third one. It's over there. I had 3 shelves down here at one time, so there'll be 3 shelves here with stuff on it. Also, off the front of this end, I'm going to have a rail yard of some sort. There's going to be another 4 feet maybe off the front of this leg going towards the direction of the furnace area. And that's going to have an engine house on it and some siding for some of my rolling stock. I have to sit down and make the plan up as how this is going to work, because I need sidings for the industry, and I need and I want a passenger line. One line is going to be passenger, the other line is going to be freight. I'm not sure how I'm going to make that. I thought the freight line would be on the outside, but then the passenger line would interrupt a siding for freight, and I don't want the passenger line too far in. Once I get the framework built and everything set down, I can start planning how I want the track to go, and something will happen here. I have some room here, of course, more than I initially thought I'd have, so there'll be some more stuff going on here. I don't know yet if I'm going to have a seaport. If I will, it'll be over here. I'll be carving some of this foam out to make a seaport in there. And then, of course, I have some more room over here for some more houses and whatnot. So there's a lot of possibility here. Working with the space that I have, trying to figure this out, and laying the track down and then wiring. It's going to take a little while, but I'm looking forward to getting it done. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave me a comment. I always like comments. And stay tuned, because this is going to start coming together real soon. Anyway, have a great day, and bye for now.